Hello, family. I miss you all, and I am so excited to be bringing this topic to you. I want to speak directly to someone. Maybe you're navigating a divorce. Maybe you've been laid off and just secured a new role. Maybe you're carrying financial obligations, kids, family, responsibilities that come first. And in the middle of all of that, you still want to show up elevated. You still want to walk into a room and have your presence speak for you. But hiring someone to solve this for you isn't an option right now. So you're going to do the work yourself, smartly, intentionally. And that is why I designed this presentation. It is with you in mind. Today's topic: show up like you've stepped into your next level, how to elevate your style while in transition. Now, imagine walking into any room and people feel your credibility before you say a word. That's not reserved for a certain type of person. That's available to you right now with exactly what you already have. Because here's what I know about you: the experience is there, the capability is there, the judgment is there. Today, we're making sure the world can see it. I'm going to walk you through the executive optic system, intentional shifts that bring your outside in alignment with everything you've already built on the inside. And by the end of this, you're going to see yourself and show up differently. Throughout this video, I'm dropping free, must I say free resources at different points, checklists, guides, and tools you can put to work immediately. So stay with me. You won't want to miss any of them. Now, this is not theoretical. This is about very specific moments. Maybe you're interviewing. Maybe you just accepted a new role. Maybe you've been promoted. Congratulations. And you're ready for people to finally see you at that level. Or you're returning to the office thinking, I want to show up sharper this time. If even one of those moments is in your horizon, this was created for you. Not for a version of you with unlimited time or budget, but for you right now. Navigating real priorities and still choosing to elevate. Because these moments are opportunities to reset how you show up, to step into your next level with intention. And the goal isn't to do more, it's to approach this differently with structure. So instead of guessing, you have a clear, repeatable way of showing up at the level you're stepping into. And that's exactly what we're going to do. Planning and tracking systems. The first system, and in many ways the foundation, is planning. Not rigid planning, not overcomplicated systems, just simple, intentional decisions made ahead of time. That's the key, made ahead of time. One of the biggest reasons we feel inconsistent in how we show up is that we're deciding in the moment. When we're tired, when we're rushed, when we have 10 other things competing for our attention. And in those moments, we default to what's easiest, not necessarily what's most aligned. Planning removes that pressure. You decide once and benefits from that decision over and over again. It creates consistency, and consistency is what people begin to recognize. So instead of your presence feeling occasional, it becomes reliable. And that's where the shift happens. I'm going to share 3 simple shifts. You can start using them right away. Nothing complicated, nothing time consuming, just small decisions that create a very different experience in how you show up every single day. Let's start with the first one. Let me share where this started for me. I went to a monthly online networking event and I found myself sitting in the Zoom meeting thinking, did I wear this last time? And I genuinely could not remember. Not because I didn't care, but because I wasn't using a system. And that's when it clicked. This isn't about memory, it is about tracking. Here's what is important to understand. The people you see every day, they're seeing you so often, it's more difficult for them to keep track of your outfits. But the people you see occasionally, monthly meetings, leadership reviews, networking events, those are the rooms where repetition is more visible. Not because anyone is judging you, but because those interactions are more spaced out. Now, the goal isn't perfection, it's awareness. Here's the system. At the end of each day, log what you wore, where you wore it, and who you were with. Not the next day, the same day. And instead of just tracking by date, start thinking in terms of audiences. Your monthly meetings, your leadership spaces, your networking environments. Those are your repeat rooms. Then, the night before an event, take a quick look. Not to overthink, just to stay intentional. What this does is simple. It removes the uncertainty. It removes the second guessing. And it allows you to show up feeling prepared and aligned every time. The tools doesn't matter. The Notes app, you can use that, a simple spreadsheet, even a calendar entry. The consistency does. And I want to make this even easier for you. So I created a free wardrobe calendar template already set up and ready to go. Just drop Freebie1 in the comments and I will send you the link. Let's build on this. Now, this second shift is simple and it's a lot of fun. Here it is. Leaders do not panic shop. They don't wait until the night before and try to solve everything at once. They plan ahead. I was reminded of this recently. I was shopping for my daughter's homecoming, multiple stores, one weekend, exhausted, flustered, fussing at my kid, trying to pull it all together at the last minute. And then I turned a corner, and there was an entire section of dresses, already selected, tailored, pressed, labeled for pickup. And I thought they were ready. Not because they were better, but because they had a system. Now I'm going to give you an insider tip. This is something that many people do not know. Many higher end stores offer free shopping consultations. This is how you get one. You call ahead, you tell them your occasion, your size, your preferences, and when you arrive, the work is already done. A dressing room is waiting for you. Outfits have already been pulled. A consultant who understands your style is ready to guide you through the process. No digging through racks, no mismatched pieces, no walking out exhausted with nothing that works. It's like having a personal stylist completely free. And if you love a particular brand, this is a game changer. You have the opportunity to build a relationship with someone who already knows your taste, who pulls for you before you arrive, who makes the experience feel like it was created just for you. That's not a luxury experience. That's smart strategy. Here's the truth. Most moments that feel last minute weren't actually surprises. They were on the calendar. The gala invitation went out in September. The leadership dinner was on the calendar since January. And you were selected as the conference keynote 6 weeks ago. These are not surprises. The preparation gap is always a planning gap. And when you give yourself time, everything changes. You make better decisions. You invest in higher quality pieces. You wear what you purchased more than once because you're thinking across events, not just reacting to one event. And here's what that looks like in practice. We talked about booking the styling consultation. We must do that. Make that shift immediate. It is totally free to you. You shop with intention. Think in terms of capsules, not individual pieces, but how everything works together. And give yourself time for tailoring, time to find the right fit, time to make thoughtful decisions. Rushing leads to mistakes and often more spending. So the shift is this. You're not shopping to solve a problem. You're shopping to support your standard. And when you approach it this way, everything becomes easier, more consistent, more aligned. Now let's go to the next shift. The third shift is this: curate your closet. Because a closet full of pieces that don't quite work creates more confusion than having fewer, better options. On a busy morning, you reach for what's easy, and what's easy doesn't always reflect your next level. So this is about creating clarity. Think in 3 categories: keep, tailor, remove. Keep the pieces that already align. Tailor the pieces that are close but need refinement to fully work. And remove what no longer supports you. Remove what no longer supports you. Not because there's anything wrong with it, but because it no longer reflects where you're going. One question can guide this entire process. Does this communicate the level I am stepping into? Not where I've been, but where I'm going. That shift alone changes everything. And timing matters here. Anchor this twice a year at natural reset points. January and July work well. Always edit before you shop. Because when you shop into an unedited closet, you're just adding more noise. But when you create space first, every new addition becomes more intentional. And for the pieces you remove, resell them, co-sign them, or donate to them. You're not losing value. You're redirecting value. And what you gain immediately is clarity. Now that we've built a strong foundation, let's move into the next system: grooming and maintenance. Grooming and maintenance systems. Before anyone notices your outfit, they notice how you're put together. This isn't about perfection, it's about consistency. When this system is in place, everything else becomes easier. Your outfits look better, your presence feels more aligned, and you stop having to think about it. Let's get into it. The next shift is this: elevate your standard. Your daily baseline is now executive. Put together is no longer occasional. It is your default setting. Not because you're doing more, but because your systems are supporting you. Because standards don't hold on their own, they're protected by systems. When your systems improve, your standard becomes easier to maintain. You're not rising to the occasion. You're showing up consistently at the level you've already decided. And that's what creates presence. That's what creates recognition. That's what signals value before you say a word. Now, let's make that even easier. Let's automate it. The next shift is this: automate your maintenance. And this is where consistency really locks in. I learned this from my hairdresser. She was so good. She was always booked weeks in advance. And if you didn't schedule your next appointment before you left, you were either waiting or trying to piece something together last minute. So over time, I stopped deciding. I just booked the next appointment before I walked out of the door, and the system handled the rest. She also had an early morning slot, 6 a.m. on Saturdays. Most people didn't want it. I took it every time. I was done before most people started their day, and I never lost a full Saturday to the salon again. That's what systems do. They give you consistency without taking more of your time. So here's what this looks like for you. You pre-book your appointments, hair, nails, maintenance. You choose times that work with your life, not against it. You rebuild decision making because it's already handled. You reduce decision making because it's already handled. And you treat this as part of your standard, not something optional, because this isn't a luxury, it's a professional investment. And when you build it in as a regular line item, it becomes consistent, not something you revisit every time your schedule or budget shifts. And to make this easy, I've created a simple 6-month pre-scheduling template for your hair, nail, skin, dermatology, dental, and annual care visits. If you comment Shift 5, I'll send you the link to download it. So you can set this up at once and let the system carry you forward. Now let's make this even more visible. Let's talk about finding the right hairstylist. The next shift is this: protect your signature hairstyle. Our hair is one of the most consistent signals we carry into every room. And over time, it can change. That can become a limitation, but we don't have to let it become a limitation. It's something we can design around. This is why this isn't just about finding a stylist, it's about adding the right stylist to your personal branding team. Someone who understands your standard, your lifestyle, the image you're building. Because the goal isn't to scale back your options, it's to evolve them. To maintain a look that feels consistent, intentional, and aligned with where you're going. That may mean focusing on hair health, refining your shape, or incorporating hair extensions or additions that support the look you want. But it starts with the right partnership, because when your hair is consistent, your presence becomes consistent, recognizable, polished, intentional. That's your signature. Now let's move into the next system: how we show up in specific context, in rooms, on cameras, when we travel. Because this is where small details make a big difference. These are the moments that matter most, and often the ones we're least prepared for. The next shifts are simple, but they change how you show up when it counts. And I'll share this: The next one includes a story about a conference and the most beautiful pairs of shoes that I left behind. Stay with me. Allow me to set a scene. You're at the airport. It's early, you're tired, and you've decided today is a good day for pajama pants. And then you turn the corner at gate B12, and there is your new VP. Just standing there, boarding the same flight. We have all had a version of that moment, have we not? And here's what it teaches us: you don't turn executive presence off at the airport. Unscripted environments reveal your default standard: the delayed flight, the crowded gate, the colleague on the same connection. These are not neutral moments. Your posture, your tone, your patience, your composure, these signals travel further than you think, because executive presence isn't situational, it's a pattern, and patterns build credibility. The new baseline is higher, and that's actually great news because you're already building the systems to support it. If your presence only shows up in meetings, it's not leadership, it's a performance. I want to share a quick story. I was at a conference and I had the most perfect shoes, cream and black. Matched my outfit exactly. I was so proud of those shoes. But by lunch, I was back in my room with those perfect shoes off of my feet. I came back down in my black heels, the ones I bought twice because I wear them until they're worn out. And here's what I noticed: nobody noticed the shoes were different. Nobody ever notices the shoes you leave in your room. But they do notice something else. They notice discomfort because pain is visible. It changes how you walk, how you stand, how you engage. And even if people can't name it, they feel it. When you're uncomfortable, you're not fully present. Here's the shift: comfort is not a compromise, it's a strategy. I buy the same great shoe twice, one in rotation, one in reserve. So I never lose the shoe that works, and I'm never scrambling to replace it. Here's the rule: if you can't walk a full day in it confidently, it doesn't belong in your professional rotation. A lower heel you own is always more powerful than a higher heel you endure. Now, let's talk about how you show up on camera. The next shift is this: put yourself in the right light. Your Zoom presence is now part of your professional brand, and it's the fastest way to elevate it, and it costs you nothing. Here's a tip: fix your lighting. Not expensive equipment, not a studio setup, just a few simple adjustments that can change everything about how you show up on screen. Here are the 5 easiest lighting fixes. First, face a window. Natural light hitting your face instantly solves most lighting problems. Second, turn off any lights behind you. Lamps or windows in your background create a silhouette effect. We've all seen this and it looks really weird. Third, raise your light to eye level. Ceiling lights cast downward shadows. A lamp at eye level makes you look more awake and more present. Fourth, soften the light. A lampshade or a bouncing light off of a wall eliminates that harsh shine. And number 5, angle it angle it slightly to the side, not straight on, not extreme, just a slight angle that adds natural dimension to your face. And if you only remember one setup, only one, face a window, add a soft lamp at eye level, done. Now, one more thing. Your background is part of your outfit. A curated shelf, a clean wall communicates intentionality before you say a word. Now let's move into the next system. Now let's talk about your wardrobe. And I want to reframe how you think about it. Your wardrobe is not a collection of things you own. Think about it as a system. And every single time you get dressed, it's communicating something. The question is it communicating what you intend? In this section, we're going to cover 3 shifts that turn your wardrobe into a system that works for you every single day. Let's get into it. Next shift is this: stop overpaying for glasses. I learned this one the hard way. I paid over $1,000 for a single pair of glasses, and later I complimented someone on theirs. They paid a fraction of that price. Same effect, same level of polish, and that's when it clicked. The value isn't in the price, it's in the choice. Here's what's important to know. Your prescription belongs to you. You can request it and take it anywhere. So instead of investing in one pair, build options, 2, 3, different frames for different settings. Now your glasses become part of your system, not a single decision you're locked into. You have variety, you have backups, you have flexibility. Not spending more, just deciding better. Now let's talk about the details that complete to the look. Five more to go. Stay with me. This is where polish becomes visible. These are the details most people overlook and the ones people always notice. One sleeve precision. A slight wrist reveal creates structure and intention. 2 color echoing. Not matching, just repeating a tone. That's what creates cohesion. Think about your fabric finish. Wrinkles and lint change everything. Use a lint roller, especially on dark fabrics. Replace worn knits before they look tired. Fix the small things, missing buttons, loose threads. A good dry cleaner handles this easily. And remember what we said about tailoring. Your sleeve length should be intentional. Your fit should support your frame. If you're taller or shorter than average, choose brands that design for you. Because when those details are handled, everything else looks more elevated. It's not more effort, it's more precision. Let's talk about how to look expensive. Looking expensive has nothing to do with spending more. It's about making smarter choices, more intentional choices. And here's the framework. First, shop quality brands secondhand if it's not in your budget to buy them at retail. Start with the brand, not the store. For example, a $500 Theory blazer regularly resells for $80 to $200. Same garment, you're just not paying for the retail markup. Second, prioritize
fabric over label. Touch the fabric. If it feels substantial and rich, it will look expensive. Think wool, linen, silk blends. The moment you feel thin, shiny polyester, walk away. Third, tailor everything that you buy. This is the highest return investment in your wardrobe. A $100 blazer plus a $35 tailoring job will beat a $500 blazer off the rack every single time, because fit is the ultimate signal of authority. Fourth, shop off season. Buy your wool blazers in the spring, pick up lighter pieces in the fall. January and July are the best months. A $500 blazer becomes $150 just because you timed it correctly. And fifth, invest in quiet luxury colors. Black, ivory, camel, navy, charcoal. Everything coordinates. Everything photographs as expensive. Everything communicates authority without effort. Here's the takeaway. Looking expensive is about fabric, fit, restraint, and intentional choices. Anyone watching this can execute this. You just need to know where to look and what to look for. And I have put it all together into a free guide. The exact sourcing approach I use for finding signature pieces at a fraction of the price. Just drop Freebie 3 in the comments and I'll send you the link. Now let's move into our final system. The final system is this: our daily rituals, or what I like to call our executive standards, because everything we've covered is sustained by what we do consistently. These are the quiet habits, the ones no one sees directly, but everyone experiences. And this isn't about perfection, it's about alignment. When our standards are supported daily, everything else holds. Let's get into it. The daily alignment loop. This is what brings everything together, the daily alignments loop. 3 steps every morning, non negotiable. First, center yourself. Gratitude, prayer, reflection, journaling, however that looks for you. This is where you decide who you are showing up as today. Second, check the signal. Does what I see match who I've decided to be? Your presence, your presentation, your energy. If something feels off, that's information. And third, quick reset. Fix what's fixable in 5 minutes or less. No overthinking, no delay, just alignment. Because this is how everything we've covered becomes real. Not occasionally, but consistently. The next shift is this: maintain your skin with intention. Over time, our skin changes. That's not something to fight, it's something to support. This is about age-defying care, not chasing perfection, but maintaining clarity, texture, and consistency. Because skin is the foundation, it's what everything else sits on. And when it's well maintained, you need less to look polished. So this becomes a system: simple routines, consistent care, targeted support where needed. Not complicated, just intentional. Because when your skin is supported, your presence feels more refined, more rested, more aligned, and that becomes part of your standard. And I want to make this easy for you. Many of us were never taught how to care for our skin proactively. We wait until we see a change and then we try to correct it. But this is about staying ahead, simple, consistent routines that support your skin over time. So you always present as polished, well cared for, and effortlessly refined. I created a free skincare guide to walk you through exactly what works and the budget options that deliver real results. Just drop Freebie 4 in the comments and I will send you the link. Now, body and wellness. This final shift is this: how we care for our bodies. And I want to share this honestly. For a long time, I held myself to a very specific number, and I thought that number was the standard. But over time, I realized that that standard wasn't supporting me. So I made a different decision: more flexibility, more sustainability, more ease. And what I found was this: when I focused less on restriction and more on how I felt, everything improved. My energy, my clarity, my consistency, and even how I show up in my clothing. Because instead of chasing a number, I started paying attention to bloating and inflammation. And reducing those made a visible difference, not just in how I felt, but in how I looked. Clothes fit differently, my silhouette shifted, my face looked more defined, and I felt more comfortable, more confident, more energized. Here's what made the biggest difference. Cut first: alcohol, sodium, sugar carbonation. Add water. It counterintuitively reduces water retention, I know. And 3 days before any high stakes event, eliminate all four every time. So this shift isn't about perfection. It's not about a specific number. It's about alignment. Finding what allows you to feel well, to feel confident, and to show up fully. Because when your body is supported, your presence follows, and that becomes your standard. And as I worked through this, I realized I needed something simple to stay consistent. Not a strict plan, not something overwhelming, just a clear daily system for the habits that actually support how I want to show up. So I created one, a 30-day tracker designed around reducing bloating and inflammation, so you can feel more comfortable, more confident, and more energized without restriction, without overwhelm. The link is in the description, and this one is worth it. We've covered a lot today, and I want you to see what happens when you put it all together. Invisible becomes memorable. Reactive becomes intentional. Capable becomes executive ready. Inconsistent becomes trusted. Scrambling becomes systematized. These are not aspirational statements. These are outcomes I have watched happen. They happen when someone builds the system, runs it consistently, and stops leaving their presence to chance. And I want to be honest with you. Aligning your signal gets you seen, but being named before the room, being trusted at the executive level, being promoted, these require the full operating system. Your signal opens the door. What you do when you walk through it is everything. Now, let me tell you what's coming next because I have something for you. I told you at the beginning there were free resources waiting for you. Here they are: the wardrobe calendar template, the tool that prevents the networking moment I described at the beginning. 30 seconds to use, life changing over time. The maintenance calendar, 6 months of appointments already laid out. Fill it in once, then use it for the entire 6 months. The How to Look Expensive guide, the exact sourcing approach for finding elevated pieces at a fraction of the price. And finally, the skincare guide, simple, evidence-backed, budget-friendly. Your future self will thank you. To get any of these, just drop the freebie number in the comments and I'll send you the link. Freebie 1, 2, 3, or 4. I've got you. Now I want to close with something important. Your skills are not the problem. Your signal has been inconsistent, but now you have a system. Start today with one shift, just one. The wardrobe calendar, the fabric test, the color strategy. Pick one and do it this week. The compound effect builds from there. And I want to hear from you. Which of these shifts are you trying first? Drop the number in the comments. I read every single comment. And if you want weekly executive presence tips delivered straight to your inbox, the Lead with Agility newsletter is becoming live. Link in the description. Thank you for staying until the end. You showed up today, and that already says something about the woman you are becoming. Have an amazing day.